Why, yes, I did make this intro. Thank you for noticing. It sucks. Fuck you. This video builds off things that I talked about in my first few videos of the series, so if you want to get full context, I suggest you check those videos out. But basically, I don't think time is very viable as a means to make a successful YouTube channel anymore, and thus other methods of exposure need to be taken, and I've discussed both shoutouts and clickbait as methods. But this episode, we're going to be talking about a relatively common method these days in drama. Now, drama is kind of a general term. Its actual definition, according to Google, is an exciting, emotional, or unexpected series of events or set of circumstances. But for YouTube, we've kind of adopted drama as a term for expressing disdain for another YouTuber's content or character. It seems like all YouTubers dabble in this these days, but probably the biggest drama genre on YouTube is the commentary community. Being a part of the commentary community myself, I've obviously taken drama as my main source of exposure. If a story is trending and I have something that I'd like to say about it, or just want to have a joke at that topic's expense, that's basically my method of exposure. But the reason that I chose drama was, number one, it's something that I find interesting, and number two, it's the easiest way to work your way into the YouTube system without any outside help, in my opinion. PewDiePie was on the H3H3 podcast recently, and he had a quote that I think really articulates why drama is such a viable method.
Almost the epitome of YouTube drama, because it's like now drama is the new way of collabing with people.
This is probably the best way that I've seen it put. Taking my videos, for example, I have a video giving criticism to Colossal is Crazy. Obviously, it would be very difficult to get him to work with me, but by making a video about him, he really doesn't have a choice in the matter. Now, obviously, it's not exactly the same. I didn't make the video because I wanted a feature from him, but I think the core concept of it is a good point. Look at it like this. My name and videos hold very little weight, if any. But Colossal's name does. People see his name and wonder what I'll be saying about him, and maybe in the process of the things that I say, people will agree with what is said and will decide that they liked it enough to see what I offer in the future. And I think that's the core concept of drama as a method of exposure. Now, for me personally, I don't have a problem with drama. I'm obviously kind of biased, but I think it alone is not something that's very criticizable as a content genre. The criticism for drama comes in with the actual content you display. For the biggest examples, I think to bandwagoning and false accusations. False accusations are pretty obvious as to why they're bad. You lie about someone to hurt their career, and obviously that's going to be frowned upon if proven false. The whole Leafy, Keemstar, and Grade A situation is a decent example of this, but I think for a more recent example, we'll look to Honor the Call, who recently said this in a video.
Now, if you are not colorblind, you can clearly tell these values are in the color red. Right, to this tweet, Mr. Cocky Gamer J replies, "Doesn't red mean minus?" Holy shit, dude, we thought you can't see the color red, but you can clearly see it, can you not? What the fuck you doing, dude?
Now, the evidence shown is not enough to give a definitive answer to whether or not the pro gamer Jay is colorblind. There are way too many variables, and if Jay does get a doctor's notice as he threatened, this would be a lie in order to slander Jay's name. Even if it's not a complete lie and it's just naive on the part of Honor the Call, it's still a slanderous accusation to Jay if it's not true. As for bandwagoning, it's a bit more complex. Now, this is my personal opinion, but I think bandwagoning is bad for the community as a whole. I know I said this in a previous video, one that people were apparently not very happy with, probably because I was taking a more mocking and snarky tone, but let me try to prove better what I mean here. The way I view bandwagoning is jumping on something that's trending and rolling with that narrative that wasn't researched by you. One person makes a video exposing another, and then all these various channels jump on that topic, recite the claims, and give their own 2 cents, if even that. The issue that I have with it is they don't really add anything to it. The entertainment value is down to them saying this person was accused of this, they're a piece of shit, and they hate them. The videos don't give me anything. They don't have any substance outside of them talking about something or someone that you might be interested in. It doesn't build anything off of the original claims. They just join the herd of others who want to comment on that situation. Now, that being said, it's still a gray area as to when you've added enough to the conversation to warrant your own video. I'm not going to debate that here, but I do think it's very hard to determine when you've crossed that line. Even with someone like Wild Spartans, whom I personally don't think adds enough to a topic, that is my personal opinion. Maybe to you, he adds enough to what he's saying, be it entertainment or information, but to me, he generally doesn't cross that line. And also, with all that being said, you could take what I'm saying as being hypocritical. You can watch one of my videos, like Casey Neistat Quits Daily Vlogs, and maybe that doesn't pass the line for you. And I do understand that opinion, or at least where it comes from. But for me, what I'm adding is comedy. I'm not looking at a situation through a critical eye, I'm more poking fun at it from the sidelines. So whereas Wild Spartans might say,
like, I don't even try to be funny here, I try to be entertaining.
I personally am trying to be funny. Whether or not I've achieved that is up to you, and it's up to the viewer to decide who crosses that mark and who doesn't. Now, obviously, with something like Devil's Advocate, it works a little bit different. I'm trying to argue the side of Keemstar because I want to talk about the situation in a different way, or the Colossal is Crazy Trivial episode where I'm looking at his content critically, but there's no real sizable bandwagon against him, so I wouldn't consider it to be bandwagoning, more of just criticisms of his content. That all being said, let me tell you why I don't consider drama or commentary to be a bad thing for YouTube. Drama is just something that the majority of humans enjoy. It's entertaining to know what someone has to say about something you like or don't like. And for people who say that it's an unoriginal genre or commentary is just leeching off other YouTubers, while I do think that can be true to an extent, and while I understand that argument, I look at it like this. If someone were to critically review a movie, you wouldn't say that they were leeching off that movie's success. If someone were to make fun of a video game by spoofing it, you wouldn't call them a leech either. If someone were to talk about the newest episode of a TV show, you wouldn't just say that they were trying to leech off of its success either. Now, this is kind of a general example because there are cases where you might call someone a leech for jumping on a trend like Pokemon Go or something, but I do apply the same logic to YouTube. Yes, there are differences. YouTube is a more personal form of entertainment, but I think the principle is the same. YouTube is a form of entertainment, and it only makes sense for people who enjoy or have strong feelings about that entertainment to talk about it in some capacity. No less than discussing a movie, video game, or TV show. Anyways, that's the video, guys. Like it, don't like it, let me know. Drama is kind of a broad strokes topic. It may mean something different to you, but this is what it means to me in terms of how I think it plays into YouTube. And with that, I think there's only one more means of exposure that I want to talk about, that being self-promotion, and that will be the next part of this series before I move on to a different subtopic for it. I'm thinking probably YouTube issues content, but we'll see. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. I know this isn't a series that many people are overly interested in, but I like to kind of articulate my views on these types of things to kind of just give context as to what I think about them, I guess. Shark Pride for life, bruh.